we've been trying to reform the defense acquisition system since Washington had to stand up in the boat because it wasn't big enough crossing the Delaware. It's been 200 years. People have decided to work around the system. Large companies, and translate this to DoD, you could do it in your head, or I'll help us think this through a little later, but large organizations execute known business models or known missions. But startups were doing something radically different. Startups weren't doing execution at all. Startups were searching for business models. And this distinction between search and execution had never been articulated before. And why that was important was that we had built 100 years of management tools and techniques for execution. That is, how do you do supply chain? How do you manage large organizations? How do you do partnerships? How do you build products, etc.? All made sense at scale, but in fact, all those things were irrelevant or destructive to think about when you were 5 people in a garage. This is the basis of the class you're taking. There are no facts inside the building. While there are plenty of opinions that on day one, a new venture, including everything you're working on and the projects in the class, on day one, it's actually a faith-based enterprise. It's a religious activity. And your job to succeed is to turn that faith into facts as quickly as possible. Just think of that notion as contracting officers for most of you. Oh my gosh, do we have contracting vehicles that even allow us to do that when we get new data? Well, in the commercial world, we figured that out very early. A key part of Lean says, why on earth are we still building something that no one wants or needs anymore? Why don't we try to deliver stuff that matters rather than deliver stuff our contract said we're supposed to deliver? And of course, all of you are kind of going to run headlong into that conundrum of DoD contracting hasn't kept up with this notion of, gee, when you get new data, perhaps we should not deliver stuff that's no longer needed.